How's it going, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. As you can probably tell, this isn't the traditional way that I'm used to creating my YouTube videos. You know, you're usually seeing me, but I want to try something new out, something different, and make this content consumable, make it on the go. And this video, audio, whatever it is you want to call it, is going to be very raw and unscripted. I have a couple of talking points on the computer, which will make this a lot easier. So you might hear some ums or uhs along the way, like you probably heard a second ago. But anyways, today's topic is getting over content posting fear. And one of the biggest regrets that I have to this day is having cared too much about what people thought about my content. What I'd say my first attempt at actual content creation was these 4-panel cringe comics that were very in at the time. I say 4-panel cringe because there's an actual subreddit dedicated to it. And, many people look down on it this day, but at the time, I had a lot of fun making it. However, as I started getting a bit older, insecurity started to come along, which, were developed, I guess if you want to say it that way, from the people that I was hanging out with a lot. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I just found myself no longer posting. And this period of no longer posting actually came to an end just last month. And the funny or ironic part, I guess, it's that I'm a marketing major with a job as a social media content specialist in the telecommunications industry, and I have another as a consumer behavior analyst and digital advertiser at a marketing agency. So if we were to calculate between the last time I took content posting seriously and this very moment, today, May 9th, 2020, it's been about 8 years. My excuse for no longer posting was, why should anybody care what I have to say? Why am I entitled to other people's attention? Which, by the way, let me get this very, very clear. If this is just like one of the excuses or just one of the many ways that content posting fear can be expressed, There's other examples, like one eye appears if I'm spamming other people. I don't even know what I would say. What will people think about me? So, in my case, at least, this was just a very cheap excuse that I used to convince myself that I wasn't insecure. Everybody just seeks validation. And if you're somebody that currently has that mentality, let me be the first to tell you that if it truly makes you happy, you shouldn't be making content for other people. You should be making content for yourself. And I don't mean that in the sense that, you can't work for somebody else as a content creator. That's not what I'm saying at all. I mean it in the way that if something makes you truly happy, why should you care what other people have to say about it? Now, hold on a second. Obviously, it's a lot easier said than done not to care what other people say about it or say about you. But it isn't impossible. I don't think it's impossible. And I don't want you to think that this video, audio, whatever you want to call it, is some sort of inspirational one where I'm trying to change your mindset and telling you to chase your dreams. I'm practical. I understand that it doesn't work that way. It took me forever to get over it. So with that said, I've actually compiled 3 tips that I'm sure will work in your favor and, hopefully get you posting even as soon as you're done listening to this. And, hopefully this will actually get you over your content posting fear. So first tip, download a content calendar. Since we've been quarantined, thanks to COVID, an old trend started to come back. It came out of nowhere, really, where people are following content calendars created that, that they were created. Those particular content calendars were created for every niche and also for just general use, just so anybody can post whatever it is they want to post. You can find these pretty much anywhere on Instagram, and if you use the right hashtags for finding it, you can actually find people whose interests are very similar to yours, accounts that are very similar, which you can use as inspiration for your content. So you might be thinking, maybe, how is a content calendar supposed to help me get over my fear? Well, I'll explain it very simply using psychology, and I just want to get this on the table. I did not study psychology. I read this on an article, and I took it to, I took it to faith. So, according to Psychology Today, humans, by nature, will always try to blame somebody else. This is because it's a fantastic, defense mechanism, and I'm going to quote right now from the blog. It says, whether you call it projection, denial, or displacement, blame helps you preserve your sense of self-esteem by avoiding awareness of your own flaws or failings. So, with that said, if at any point you feel insecure about what you posted, somebody writes a mean comment about you, nobody liked your content, whatever it is that you may be afraid of, you have the security that you're actually just following a content calendar. You're actually disguising your true intentions, which, it is to post, but nobody knows that. You might be thinking that that's a little ridiculous to hide your true intentions, but believe it or not, I mentioned this out of experience. I have seen and met people that whenever they actually want to post something, they try to get you to tell them to do it. This way, the content, the content that they wanted to post flops. They can rely on the super infamous caption. I'm sure you've all seen it. I see it all the time. I didn't want to do it, but blank kept telling me to. People will just think that you're following a trend. Not only that, as a benefit, you don't actually need to develop any content ideas. I'm not sure if you see that as a benefit. It's just for people that don't have the current idea, since all the ideas are already included in the calendar. So the next tip I want to give you is to, I guess it's a more practical one, double down on your mentality. Now, this is going to sound like a bit of a contradiction, but if you truly live by the mentality, which is, who cares what I have to say, then I actually suggest that you double down on it. If you think nobody cares what you have to say, then post to make yourself happy. If posting content, to make you happy doesn't sound right to you, then I really suggest that you reevaluate your intentions for making content. You need to enjoy what you post. And if you don't, I promise you'll never truly succeed. You know why? Because your motivation, something that I will touch on a little bit later, will actually cease to exist, and you'll feel miserable, and it'll come to the point where you'll eventually just stop posting content. And one of the easiest ways, I'm telling you, super simple, it's happened to me 1,000 times, that you can sink into the social media pit is by posting content that you don't want to post in order to receive a high amount of engagement. In fact, this is exactly why Instagram is experimenting with removing likes. This way, creatives don't feel discouraged from posting what they actually want to. And for this reason, you wouldn't feel pressured to post content you don't want to post. I'm telling you, like I said earlier, I've done this. I know what works. I looked at analytics. I saw what was getting a lot of a lot of engagement, but I realized that it wasn't making me happy. So, just take that advice, apply it, and let's just go on to the third tip, which is to start fresh. This tip actually hits quite close to home. I've always, it's actually a flaw of mine that I've always been the type of person that I swear to you will tell everybody about the thing that I wanted to do or was planning on doing. However, something that I realized after telling people about what it is I wanted to do, I would end up losing motivation a little bit more down the road, and I would eventually stop chasing it, whatever it is I wanted to do. Now, was it actually me losing motivation? Here's where I'm touching on motivation, like I said on the second tip. Not really. What ends up happening is that, whenever you share your aspirations with somebody else, you suddenly feel as if all eyes are on you, bringing this unnecessary pressure for you to fulfill, your accomplishments. Otherwise, you'll probably develop the mentality that you're a loser, which, by the way, just is not the case. So, with that said, if you're afraid of what your friends and family members will think, you should create a new account and simply not tell anybody. Also, this goes into the practicality, this is a little bit more in depth, but don't sync the contacts or your contacts with your application. If you're using Instagram, whatever it is, just don't sync your contacts. Don't sign in with Facebook. Make yourself completely invisible to your friends and family. Now you can get to posting whatever it is you want to post without any worry. If you're using your face on whatever post it is, nobody really knows you. And the chances of one of your friends finding you, if you took the precautions that I just mentioned, are very rare, or it's very, very little. So another benefit to this tip is that it instantly shuts down the won't people think I'm spamming them mentality or the worry. The reason for this thought originally, it's because that the people that are following you aren't necessarily your target audience. I post snippets of my videos on Instagram Live, and I know the people that follow me, my friends, are not my target audience. A lot of them aren't looking for ways to create content. It's just not for them. So chances are it's just friends and acquaintances on your Instagram. However, by creating a new account, you automatically set a theme for it. and the people that are following you are gonna want to receive the content that you are putting out. You know, somebody, or you know, with the exception, most people aren't gonna follow you if they don't like your content. Let's be real. And by creating this fresh account, theming it, or if you want to say niching down, it'll attract the people that you want to attract, people that are interested in your content. So that's that. Now, content creation can seem like a very scary thing, but honestly, I think it's just like jumping into a pool for the first time. It seems scary, but once you do it, you'll realize that you never really had anything to fear. And I actually speak from experience. You know, just last month, I think it's been, you know, a little bit over a month, where I posted my first YouTube video. At first, I was so scared of what my friends and family was gonna say, but then I was just like, you know what? Who cares what they have to say? So I ended up just posting, and that's that. But anyways, if any of these tips actually gave you the final push that you needed to get posting, please tag me on your posts. I'd love to see the content you created, and I'll engage with as many as I possibly can. Now, if you need any ideas to get yourself posting and you don't want to use a content calendar, like I mentioned in the earlier tip, I created a video a few weeks back, I'm not sure, I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks ago, with 6 tools that you can actually use to find and develop unlimited content ideas, which you can find right here. And when I say right here, you know, you can't see me, but I'm pointing towards the little YouTube tags that are, you know, at the top of the video, or YouTube cards, sorry. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you found some value in it, please give it a like, subscribe if you can, or if you have any questions, feel free to drop a question. I'll answer to as many as I possibly can. I'll see you guys on the next one. I really hope you enjoyed this different type of format, so take care.